with me. I really am loving having this team. We do monthly meetings, and I did enjoy the meeting. I might not talk so much, but I do enjoy our monthly meetings. And they're so positive. I'm not used to this, so I'm trying to get used to it. But really, I think that Juice Plus has made a big difference in my life, and I think it will continue to make a bigger difference. Wendy and I were talking today about allergies, and I was like, oh, when we are in Ohio, which most of us are, allergies can be one of those things. And she reassured me that things. The more I take Juice Plus, then the more they'll get better. And I do believe that. I think it's gotten better as is. The main thing is thyroid wise, I'm very happy with where I'm at with my thyroid. And overall, wanting more fruits, more veggies. I'll do smoothies now, which I never would do before. So those little add-ons are great, and kind of balance my Mexican food trends and things like that. Everyone else knows that I'm a foodie, so it's good to have a good balance. And I know that I've covered my fruits and veggies for the day. So Katie here, I met through Puebla. We went on the program, met in Dallas, and she said I had an accent. Melina, you will like it because she's my Alabama girl. So she's Alabama. And then Wendy lives in Centerville, Dayton?
Bellbrook. Yeah.
Bellbrook, close enough. So we have a local helper here today. She has been great, a true leader of the program, of the team, and has more medical knowledge that I can't give. So thank you, Wendy, for coming along with. And I'm going to throw them into the fire.
Well, thanks, Lisa. I'll introduce Wendy, and she's going to get us started. But yeah, I know Lisa, known her for 2 decades. We met on our first trip to Puebla in the airport. I'm sure I had an accent too. I still have one. And then I know Wendy from when I lived in Dayton from our church. We lived in Dayton twice, so it was great. I got to see Lisa twice, 2 different, chunks of time, and then Wendy and her family twice those years that we lived there. So we really thank you for joining us this evening. Wendy is a retired nurse, and she's going to share with us her knowledge and her background and what she's observed just from that perspective. She's also a wife and a mom to 2 grown, delightful children. Let's see what else I was going to share about Wendy. She's been in the health, the wellness industry for over 20 years. So put all those things together, a nurse, a mom, working in this field. She knows a lot. So I'm going to turn it over to her. I love how she cares for people. She is just a sincere and kind person, and sincerely wants people to feel good and live a healthy life. So I'm going to have her share from her perspective.
Okay. Well, thank you. It's good to be here, you guys. And I do care because I know what it feels like to be, on the other side where, it's difficult. Life is difficult, and it's easy to, when you're feeling bad, everything in life feels hard. So I've been there. I was a nurse. Well, first of all, my husband and I met because we were athletes. We loved to do triathlons together. We played tennis. We went hiking. We just kind of fell in love with living life in that way. And we were very active. Once we got married, a couple years of working in the med-surg arena in the hospital, and I just started feeling exhausted. It was really, really rough to get through the days in the hospital, come home, try to, take care of my kids. And I was seeing in the hospital the disease and destruction to not only individuals in the hospital, their families would come in, and just what that would do to the family. And, I cared about that. That's why I went into nursing. It was hard to watch, but it mattered to me that I could try to make a difference there. And it truly was a difficult time then, but you guys, currently now, it is so much worse when I think about 25 years ago and where we are now with disease. You guys, we have a battle that's raging around us, not only with the coronavirus, but the health with diabetes and cancers and diseases and allergies and irritable bowel and, so much. I've never been busier with this business trying to help people understand the relationship between disease and nutrition or disease and a lack of nutrition with so many people. So, it was when I was working in the hospital that not only was I seeing this battle taking place, but I was experiencing this battle within me. I started getting chronic allergies, irritable bowel syndrome, fibromyalgia, thyroid issues. My allergies were just terrible. That would turn into chronic bronchitis. So I was just in a really bad way. But as a nurse, I had the best well-stocked medicine cabinet ever. And I was very proud of that. And, I just thought that was life. That's what I learned as a nurse, is that just have good medicine and just put it, kind of put a Band-Aid over it, so to speak. Don't deal with the real issue that's deeper. And, I got to a place though where my energy for life was really waning. I was very depressed. I had a lot of anxiety. I didn't know how I was going to get through life. And I finally, at one point, had to quit working in the hospital. It was just too much. I couldn't do it. I couldn't keep up with it. I was too sick. I was calling in sick a lot. And so, I feel like everything in life is woven together. Now knowing what I know today, I feel like I had to experience that kind of tragedy and hardship in my life in order to understand what the body truly needs to be well. And so for me, it was a cry to God for help. I was just there has to be another answer. I'm doing everything possible with medication and vitamins and minerals and everything I'd read about. And nothing seemed to be working. I wasn't, I was sick to my stomach all the time from taking all that. So as, I just kind of cried out to God, and I felt like I was led to reading and studying the human body in a way that was very different than what I had ever studied before, which was what nourishes the cells for health. And I couldn't believe it. I honestly could not believe what I was reading about what the body needed for health. I didn't know fruits and vegetables were good for us. I knew it, but I didn't know it. I didn't know the depth of that. I didn't know whole food nutrition was so important for brain health and the whole body to operate well. And so, as I was reading, as I was talking to people, my chiropractor was one of them, I just said, why don't we learn about this? Why didn't you learn about it in school either? It's like, why aren't the doctors hearing about this? And so a lot of it goes back to the pharmaceutical industry. It's just so powerful, so powerful. And so, when we're sick, we need meds, and it's all kind of linked together. But you guys, we can be healthier. We just need to feed our bodies well. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to drink lots of water. We need to get rest and sleep well and exercise our bodies. It all matters. And so with that, I went in one particular time to my doctor's office, and he said, Wendy, I think you can put your juicer away. There's this Juice Plus that's been researched. There was 8 studies at the time. Now we have over 40. Oh, thank you, Katie. Yeah. So I said, just show me, how I can get more, fruits and veggies in my body. And this is what he shared with me was the Juice Plus. And it's basically a way to get with the fruits, the veggies, and the Vineyard Blend. You're getting 30 fruits and vegetables in your body every single day. So just imagine that streaming through your bloodstream every day. I mean, I couldn't believe it. This is what I was reading about. I was trying to juice, but I was also still exhausted. And he said, I think you can just put that juicer away. So basically, Juice Plus is grown in just a nutrient-rich soil, which is hard to find today. We've got a lot of depleted soil here in America. So they have high-quality soil. They start with an heirloom seed. They have really high-quality seeds. They put that in the ground, and they allow the plant to vine ripen. That's another thing that we just don't see anymore. We get produce from all over the country, from other sides of the country. In Florida, they get oranges from California. Why? I don't know why they don't get them there in Florida. But, it's just interesting to see where our produce is now coming from. So the beauty of Juice Plus is we know where it's coming from. We know how it's grown. So it's vine ripened, it's picked, and immediately just off site, it's taken and it's just quickly cleansed naturally and then crushed, and then they freeze that produce, that whole food, and they send it to California where it's encapsulated and it's put into a capsule. It's made into like a powder. So we're getting a lot of this produce, but we're also getting the living enzymes. So it's as though you've had the raw produce rather than cooked, veggies on the, we just kill off those living enzymes. And that's what really matters, is not only we're getting the nutrition, but we're also getting the living food, because we're living people. We need living food. So we're not getting enough of that whole food nutrition in the living form. So Juice Plus is just high quality, a simple way to fill the gap of what we tend to not get enough of in our body. So I was so grateful for that. Yeah, I'm not sure what the next, do you have a slide there? Okay, so yeah, for me, I started taking it. It took about, I would say like 3 months for the irritable bowel and allergies. I really started noticing a difference with those. But really for the autoimmune disease that I was battling, that took like 8 months or so, 8 to 10 months. But I actually felt like exercising again. They had told me in the hospital, there is no answer. Get used to taking the medicine. You're going to be on it the rest of your life. So the fact that it took 8 months is totally fine with me, because I then had my health back and, had a whole different perspective on what it meant to be healthy and what I needed to do to be healthy. So Juice Plus, we call a catalyst for change, because you crave what you put in your body. So I started craving all this different, these different pieces of produce. And I'd go through the grocery store and I'm like, yeah, I feel like beets and, I feel like kale and broccoli. And that was unusual for me. I did not hunger for those things before. So that's one nice thing about it, is like you crave the things that are in it. But I did tell my doctor at the time, I said, you know what, I'm reading that anything can be put on the shelves at the grocery store. So I want to know there's research behind this stuff. If there's not research, I don't know if I can take it. I need to know what I'm putting in my body. And so he showed me the 8 studies, and here's a list of them, many of the institutes that have researched Juice Plus. The thing I love about it is that it's gold standard. Gold standard research is the highest quality of research possible. There's other research out there, maybe borrowed research, where if we say that an apple is in Juice Plus, we're going to show you a research study that says apples are good for your health. But it doesn't say that that apple in particularly is going to affect your body. So this is actually gold standard, randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled, tested on the product itself and with human beings. And it's published in peer-reviewed journals, which is extremely hard to get your studies published in a journal like that. So the American College of Cardiology, where all the cardiologists look to that journal, that's where we're published. So that would be one example. So it's showing to really improve cardiovascular function. And the research really is why so many doctors around the world recommend Juice Plus, thousands of them. This is what it shows to do in the body. First of all, it has to be absorbed, which is the last bullet on the list here. It has to show absorption, where most vitamin pills are not going to absorb into the body. It's not recognized like food is recognized. So it recognizes the Juice Plus. It's absorbed almost immediately, and it goes to work into the body. So it's almost like pre-digested, so to speak. And then once it's absorbed, this is what it's doing in the body. Take a look at all the different things here. I won't read them, but it's affecting the body in a profound way. So, and right now I know there's a lot of people looking for immune health, and, understandably so. We need to just really gird ourselves up with anything possible to strengthen and balance our immune system. So I feel very encouraged about that. I've been taking it now for 20 years and really have never felt better in my life. So I'm just so grateful. I love this quote by Dr. Richard Du Bois. He has worked with a lot of AIDS patients, autoimmune disease that type of thing. He says there is nothing else available any place in the world with or without a prescription that has been clinically proven to do what Juice Plus has been proven to do in the body. And basically it's because it's fruits and vegetables. That's all it is. So it's whole food nutrition that's powerful in the body, but because it's so concentrated, you're getting a good amount of it and taking it every single day. You know, most of us are prone to eat like a banana or an apple or an orange, you know, but we don't get the spectrum. And each one of those pieces of produce impacts the body in a different way. Overall health, but also, like we know, carrots are good for the eyes. Tomatoes are good for our skin, cruciferous vegetables good for breast health for women. So they're realizing we really need the spectrum of produce, not just a couple different things, but a variety of a lot. So yeah, did you want me to turn it over to you too, Katie?
That'd be great. Yeah, I was just going to share here why these studies are important to me. The last one there on the list, absorbed by the body, really is important. For my story, I'll back up and just tell you kind of a brief version of it. But about 5 years ago, my body just really fell apart. And I think it was a combination of a whole lot of stress and just not eating really healthily. I thought I ate healthily because I cooked and I did eat fruits and vegetables, but not the quantity. Researchers have found and are now recommending that we eat between 7 and 13 servings, which a serving is your fist. So 7 to 13 of these, I was probably eating 4. And I was cooking but I was still eating a lot of processed food and a lot of sugar. I could metabolize sugar pretty well. So I thought, oh, I am blessed. I am just going to eat this sugar and enjoy it. And my blood work looked good and I looked healthy. But at this point, I knew I wasn't because my body just completely fell apart and I was having horrible fatigue. I had symptoms all over my body, just a whole variety of things going on, but I could hardly function. And I was trying a bunch of different expensive supplements that my doctor had recommended. Thankfully, we did find the root cause of all that, and it was leaky gut, which is a precursor to autoimmune disease. And, I made sure I was drinking water and exercising and sleeping and all those things, tweaked my diet and taking a lot of supplements. And after many months, I didn't get well and we moved across the country and I got another doctor and tried some other expensive supplements and I was getting very, very frustrated. It was a really discouraging time. It's probably the hardest year or two of my life, really, because I just felt like this is never going to go away and nobody can tell me what to do. So at that point, I saw Wendy and was just desperate. And I'm like, I need you to help me. And she said, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've had several autoimmune issues. And she shared with me about how she had tried juicing, but there was an easier way than that. And that was to take Juice Plus, which comes in a capsule or a gummy, by the way, if you don't really like to swallow pills. And so I thought, well, I'm pretty desperate. This makes a lot of sense to me to have more fruits and vegetables in your body. It was really the only thing I hadn't tried. While my doctors told me to make sure I was eating fruits and vegetables, they didn't tell me that I needed to take, almost triple what I was eating. Because really, if you're sick or you're a super athlete, you need to eat more like 13 to 15 servings every day. So this made a lot of sense. And she showed me the research. And I loved that there were studies saying that it was absorbed by the body, because when I was taking all those expensive supplements, I did wonder, are these like even getting into my, my blood? Is it even circulating through my body? Doesn't seem like that, right? After all these months and no progress. So I was thrilled to know that they actually had studies and that was one of the things, and it's awesome. And so after I decided I would take it for a year, and after about 4 months, I stopped catching like every cold virus that was going around. I was thrilled with just that. And then after about eight months or so, my autoimmune issues started to just little by little go away. And I was so grateful. It was like I was getting my life back. Really, it was like a gift of hope that Wendy had given to me. I was absolutely thrilled. And about pretty much the same month, I turned 40 and I went in for a mammogram, and they found a small area of slow growing breast cancer in one of my breasts. And that was like major shock, in that we have no risk factors for that in my family. But it also didn't shock me because I knew my body had been on this high alert and in such turmoil for about 2 years. And so I thought, okay, that makes sense. And also, cancer doesn't grow overnight. So I knew that it was probably over a decade or two, maybe, that I was just, over stress, too much stress, not the right diet, probably not enough sleep, things like that, just over all this time. So anyway, I had the treatment, I had a lumpectomy and I had radiation. And honestly, I recovered really fast from all of it. I I did not slow down. I kept homeschooling my children. Really, I felt fine. They told me you're going to get really tired during radiation. I really didn't. I was just so grateful. And I think it was just God's grace in my life and just flooding my body with the proper nutrition. And so anyway, I enjoy sharing my story today, even though it was hard to go through all those things. I enjoy sharing it with people just so they know if you're going through something like this, or maybe you aren't, but you have a friend or family member, that there is hope, and like there are things you can do and there are steps you can take to give your body the best environment to flourish. And even if you're not sick, this is something now that, I look at Juice Plus and my diet and my lifestyle is preventative. I don't think of me as having a sick story anymore. I think of me having a well story. And I'm now just taking steps to pursue a life of prevention and good health. So I hope that will encourage somebody here tonight. Here are our products that we have. Wendy shared with us the fruits, berries, and vegetables. And then the orange bottle is an omega, and that's a newer product that we have. And it's wonderful for brain, heart, and eyes. People are finding relief with their joints and their arthritis, better skin, all sorts of little wonderful things from that. And you can see the bags are the gummies. So we have gummies of the fruit, berries, and vegetables. In the second little box there is our complete products. We have granola bars, and we also have smoothie mix. And I absolutely love the smoothie mix. I try to have one every day. It's clean. It's dairy-free, gluten-free, vegan, low glycemic. That means it keeps your blood sugar stable, which is important. It's got 8 grams of fiber. Fiber is what keeps your blood sugar from spiking and makes you, how that feeling where you want to eat everything in the house. Well, the fiber is what keeps you from going there. So there's also 12 grams of protein. So a nice, safe amount of protein there. You can cook with it. You can make a smoothie. People put it in, some heated milk for hot chocolate. There's just a lot of different things you can do with it. And I just feel like when I have a smoothie or have a complete bar, I feel like I'm putting something healthy. It tastes good, but it's something that's healthy and clean into my body, because there's just a lot of protein kind of mixes out there that have a whole lot of extra ingredients and junk, and this doesn't. And down here at the bottom, we see our beautiful tower garden. I'm going to show you actually a bigger picture of it here. Here we go. It's a better one. And you can grow inside or outside, and people who have black thumbs are finding that they can even grow with a tower garden and have success. It takes 98% less water, 90% less space, 30% more yield, 3 times faster. And it's just really beautiful. And children are finding that, or parents are finding that their children are willing to eat what they grow, right? Which is always a great thing, to have your kids eat more greens. And there's other things besides greens you can plant on there as well. So this is something that I really love to talk about. This is about children. So you're a child, let me back up, an adult can sponsor a child to get Juice Plus for free for 4 years. So it can be your child, it could be your grandchild, it could be a neighbor, anybody. So as long as an adult is ordering Juice Plus, a child can get it for up to 4 years, as long as they are ages 4 to 18 or they're in undergraduate college. They can have the capsules or the gummies. They get the duo. I call them the reds and the greens, the fruits and the veggies. They can get the duo for 4 years with an adult. And we've done this in our family with my 2 children. Actually, my older daughter, about 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, noticed that my younger daughter and I, who were doing this program, the Healthy Starts program, she and I were both on it, with eating Juice Plus, that my older daughter realized that my younger daughter was not sick, and she was still getting sick. And so she asked that we give it to her too. So my husband signed on, and we're all 4 doing it. But I've noticed definitely these things that they've listed, sick less often, drinking more water, visiting the doctor very rarely. Our diet is better and better. And like Wendy said, it's called metabolic programming. Whatever you eat, your body starts to crave. And so not just my children, I've heard lots of stories of other children who refuse to eat anything green. Now, after taking their Juice Plus, are actually craving and wanting and not fighting at the dinner table with their parents about this. So I can definitely vouch for this for my family. It's been absolutely wonderful. So it's a buy one, get one. Our company is so generous that they would do this. It's a company and the partners that they want to provide families with this gift. So I'm going to stop. Actually, I'm not going to stop the share. Let's keep this up. We're going to have a little question and answer. And before I open the floor up here, I'm going to ask Wendy 4 questions that we get all the time. And if she gets tired of talking, then Lisa and I can jump in. But the first question is, I eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. Isn't that enough?
Well, I mean, you can see right here, it says 7 to 13. And I have heard, upwards of 9, 9 to 13 or more, like Katie was saying, if you're an athlete, if you have high stress, if you battle a disease, you really need more than this. So, I mean, to get that much raw produce is just very difficult. So 5 still isn't quite enough. You want to try to get more for sure. So kind of, that's where we're talking about Juice Plus filling that gap. So if you're getting 5, and then Juice Plus, depending on what you order, is going to fill that gap quite a bit.
And Wendy, can I jump in for a second? I know, like, Wendy and both Katie, they have both told me, okay, like, if you are feeling stressed, like, you can take more than 1 capsule, like that, you're not going to overdose, you're just getting more fruits and veggies. And even, Wendy, didn't you say that kind of helped you doubled up when you had the autoimmune, and that you think?
Yeah, and I encourage that with people with some sort of a disease like that, like autoimmune. If people are really wanting to see, a lot of times they'll start on the 2 and 2 of everything, which all of our research is done on. So that is a good amount to take. But if you have something else that you're really trying to overcome, to take extra is always a good thing. I've actually stayed on the 4 and 4, so I feel great on that amount. And so I've stuck with that. Yeah. But it is food. You can't overdose. Like a child, they'll call disease control because their child will eat the whole bag of the gummies. And they're like, oh, well, we know that that's only fruits and veggies. It's probably going to be on the toilet quite a bit, but no harm because it's just produce. So that's a good thing.
Let's see. This is just a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. I think one thing that's interesting to me is that our bodies don't need just like 5 pounds of asparagus or 2 pounds of carrots. They need a little bit of a lot of different things, that rainbow, that spectrum of color that Wendy showed us with the capsules before. Yeah. Okay.
And also, I know sorry, Kate, if you can go back, the one thing that, when I started looking into this more, they also take, the stems, they take other aspects of the fruit and veggies that we generally don't eat or we don't enjoy. And I don't know about you, but a lot of those veggies I'm having with ranch, which isn't the best part of eating something, but those kind of things help. If you look into, I know when I was looking with breast cancer, sometimes they would say, okay, if you have the seeds of this, they have certain minerals, they have certain vitamins, things that the body needs, and we just don't get it. So I just wanted to add that little tidbit.
Yeah, that's good, Lisa. And like even with an orange, like 80% of the vitamin C is in the peel. So like that's a great example of, we want that peel. We want the fiber. We want everything that's in that peel. But we don't want the skin of the pineapple because there is something in that that's not good for us. So they're very good at doing tons of research to see what is good for the body, how it's going to impact the body, and the synergy of all of it together to decide which pieces of produce they wanted to put in the capsules and how they kind of harmonize with each other. So tons and tons of research has gone into that, which is exciting.
This is my favorite question because I get this one a lot. I take a multivitamin. How would this be different from the multivitamin that I bought at the health food store?
Yeah, that is a really good question. I have a big bin of beads. It has 11,000 beads. And in an apple, there's over 10,000 pieces of minerals and phytonutrients and all kinds of food information, so to speak. So over 10,000. But when you look at a vitamin pill, it's only 28 to maybe 35, different isolated nutrients. Well, when the body looks at that, it says, I see the harmony of the 10,000 and I understand what to do with that. I was designed for that. I see the isolation of these 28, 35, nutrients that have been pulled out of harmony, and I don't recognize it. You know, maybe it'll recognize it somewhat because it knows that it needs vitamin C, but it's nothing in comparison to the whole food that was designed to work in harmony and really impact the body. And so each one has different information in it. So an apple is going to have different information than a carrot. And the carrot's information is going to help our whole body, but it's going to really help our eyes because of all the carotenoids in it. So you start to look at each piece and how it's designed to impact our body. It's phenomenal. It's just so interesting. I love that stuff.
I forgot to mention, you know, with the omegas, that's a plant-based omega. All of our products are plant-based. Our omega is not fish-based because the fish get the omegas from the algae. And so Juice Plus got clever and decided to skip the fish and go straight to the algae source. But all of our products are plants, and this is what our body was created to recognize. Our body's not created to recognize isolated things that are made in a lab, right? Our bodies were created to recognize all these plants in creation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question. What makes Juice Plus different from other products out there?
Well, here you have it. It's basically food. We have a food label, so it's not going to be a supplement label, which is completely sets us apart. To find a food label on a product like this that says it's food it really is just so unique and so different. So because our food is what our bodies want to recognize, a really high quality food. Just no additives, no GMOs. It's vegan, it's kosher, it's dairy and gluten free. It's just very, very high quality in how it's made, but also, you know, what they're avoiding putting in and what they do actually have in it. So NSF certification is a third-party organization that comes in to check. It checks the batches of the Juice Plus, the powders, and they just make sure that what's on the label is exactly what's in the product. And if for some reason they find a mold or a pesticide or something that shouldn't be in there, that entire batch is thrown out. And they've never had that. Actually, they have such high standards that they don't see that happening. So there's no contaminants, no pesticides, no banned substances. We also have NSF for sport, which is needed for professional athletes and Olympic athletes. So basically that NSF certification, they're just checking. They pull part of the batch over and they just check it more often. So it's just a little bit more thorough of a check by the NSF. So that's pretty exciting that athletes then can be assured that this is food. They're not going to get in trouble for taking it. And there's nothing in it that would be a problem. And it's the most researched product in the world, which I love. So that truly sets us apart. That's what I was looking for.
Okay, so my last question, I don't have really a slide for, but maybe I'll go back to this pretty slide at the beginning. Sorry, nobody get dizzy there. Okay. Last question is, Juice Plus comes in 4-month shipments, like a cycle. You order 4 months. Why is that? Why can I not just order 1 month at a time?
Well, a lot of people, when you first start getting a lot of produce in your body, imagine all of a sudden you're having a huge thing of fruit salad every day and a big thing of, you know, a huge salad that maybe you're not used to getting that much in your body. Your body's going to go through an adjustment window of some detoxification sometimes. And it just takes some time for your cells to truly change over. So they know that within that first month, there's a lot of change happening, but it's a 4-month window that really your red cells are completely changed over. And there's just a lot happening at that point. So that's one of the reasons they really want people to stick out, you know, a 4-month window of taking Juice Plus. You're going to notice a difference as you continue to go forward in that window. And it's so rare for people to cancel it because they're noticing a difference in some way. Generally, I mean, we don't make any claims about anything, but based on the research, we see that people just generally have more energy. They just have a greater sense of overall well-being. They're sleeping better. Their hair and nails are growing a lot faster. So things like that, you know, depending on what they have going on in their body, whatever weakness might be there with their immune system, things are gradually happening, but they really want people to have that 4-month window. It also cuts down on the shipping. So, you know, we're going to have the shipping cost, but it's going to keep down the price of the product if we ship it every 4 months. So that helps too.
Yeah, I think that's great because a lot of times, I think as Americans, we're used to like the kind of that instant gratification, and sometimes it takes longer. I don't know if I would have noticed a big change after a month. Some people do, but after a couple of months I did, and then after like 8 months, I noticed a lot of change. So I think our bodies are also different. And so I think it's wonderful that we encourage people, you know, don't just give it a month, give it a couple of months and really let your body, really let your cells turn over and have that change on the cellular level.
And I know I started about a little bit over a year from now ago, and I just did my blood work, you know, for my thyroid, and it was 2.8, and it, you know, they do it every 6 months, so it went down to 2.1, and they said 2.0 would be really good for me. So my doctor was really happy with that. She also has all the Juice Plus right there on the counter every single time I go in. My trainer does the Juice Plus. My vet does the Juice Plus. He swears by it. He's out there now going around like, I'm not sick. You know, like, don't jinx yourself. But he says like every year that he's the one in the vet office that never gets sick, you know. And so I just had everyone keep hitting me with, you know, oh, I'm taking it, I'm taking it, I'm taking it. So I was glad when Katie started mentioning it to me, and, you know, it took a while. I'm kind of stubborn in that way. I like to investigate things, and I like to, you know, see the difference before I just jump on. So I, you know, hopefully have planted a few seeds tonight. But if you guys want to ask any questions for me, for Katie, for Wendy, we're here. Crickets.
You guys have any questions?
Not really.
Okay.
Believe everything, you know, I'm a believer.
Yeah, it's so simple because it's just fruits and vegetables. I love that. You know, there's so much confusion out there about what do I take and how much should I take, and, you know, if you take too much, it's toxic. You know, this is just food. So it's beautiful that it's that simple. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if not, you guys can always write me. You know, you all have ways of getting in touch with me. So, and we can, you know, message them back to Wendy if I don't know, or Katie. They're probably getting like bombarded with me right now, but they have been great, and they are always ready to answer my questions. Do we want to share then? I'm going to ask to share, Katie.
Yeah, just hit that green thing down at the bottom, green arrow.
And green, I believe, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
okay, so I just wanted to show you here, Juice Plus has 2 websites for me. If you guys want to order, this would be for the Tower Garden. Judy, I know you have your tires with all your plants in there. This could be another thing that could go inside as well, for those Cleveland winners. I really want one for the school, so that's on my list. But they do have one website up above. You can see it's myname.towergarden.com. So that is for the Tower Garden. And then they also have this one, lisaernest.juiceplus.com. And this is where you guys would go then if you wanted to purchase any of the items, any of the things you saw. So if we go down here, there's a feature products, you know, you can buy now. You can view some of their studies, their clinical studies as well. And then I get the updates. Katie, Wendy, is there anything else that you would want to add?
No.
If you click on the buy now, it will bring up, you can see all of the products. So you can look at, that's called the Duo, but if you scroll down, you should be able to see, let's see, it should be down there. Yep, there we are. The other capsules should pop up, and the gummies. Yeah, there we go. So I started with the red, green, and purple. It's called the Trio. The Duo is there, the Omega at the bottom. So you can really look at all of them. You can click on the one you're interested in, and you can read all the ingredients on the back, all the fruits and vegetables, the different plants that are in it. So if you're, you know, really concerned about that, you can look. It has a food label on it, so it won't look like, you know, your multivitamin label, because the FDA recognizes it as a food. But yeah, you can read through all of that. You know, you order it, they'll ship you 4 months of product, but you can pay on it all at once if you want, but you could pay for it each month for those 4 months, if that makes sense. And then also on a whole different page, well, on the main screen there, up at the very top, oh yeah, right there, there's a tab that says clinical research, and you can look at any or all of the studies if you want to. If that interests you, you can read every single one of them and the findings. So I think there they just show you all the different universities, but there's several different tabs there, and one of them will take you directly to read all of them if you would like to do that. So I think
Sammy can do this afterwards, Melina, when she's done with all her medical school items.
yeah, and if you're like, I don't really want to fool with the website, you can just give Lisa your credit card information and she'll order it for you and promise not to go on a shopping spree with your credit card.
Or Mexico, that would probably be.
That would be
Unfortunately.
more like it. That would airline, yeah. She won't purchase any airline tickets. So
Maybe someday.
I hope so.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, I thank you guys for coming on. You know, it's been good seeing you guys, and hopefully, you know, I would love to hear that you take this little leap of faith and try it, and then I can be like, oh, see, we can talk about this and, you know, how we feel better. So thank you to Katie, thank you to Wendy, and the rest of you. I'm always pretty much in touch with you sometime. Some of us have some happy hours to go and celebrate sometime, but you know, it's good seeing you, and we'll be in touch.
Nice to meet you guys. Thank you so much for getting on.
Good information. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Katie.
nice to meet you guys. Thanks for
Let's see
coming.
if this get out of here. Okay.